Hello, I'm the Culture Genie. The topic that this video is going to be dealing with is the question, what is religion? This is probably among the hardest questions to ever answer within the humanities. The truth is that there does not exist one unifying definition within the study of religion. But it might be interesting to discuss the origin of the word religion. The word religion is coming from the Latin word religio, which derives from the Latin word religare, to bind. So, religion is what is binding us together. For example, like a common culture. In fact, the word culture comes from another Latin word, cultus, that is to say the cult. The Latin word cultus had a meaning of uniting people in common communal worship. Unity, in this case, of course implied emotional ties and cultural practices for the community towards the divine, the gods, the higher powers. Many religious people would say that certain communal rituals offer an experience beyond most words, and that communal activities gives meaning to one's community and offers something higher than oneself, beyond the lone human, in the relationship to the divine. Despite the common view we have today of cults as being violent and/or small groups, this was the original meaning of the word. Thus, if you explain this older meaning of cult to religious people, it is probably something that most religious people would agree with, the religion being a cult in that sense. Though they will probably still say that the word cult is unflattering and insulting due to the modern connotations. I have now discussed the origins of the words religion and cult, but other more recent definitions in the study of religion are a myriad, and if I was to discuss them all, then that would be the only thing my channel would be doing. However, my personal favorite definition with regards to religion comes from Émile Durkheim, and he defined it as a unified system of beliefs and practices relative to sacred things. But even Durkheim's definition can be considered to be problematic. There exist what could be argued to be religions that are not unified or have a systematic structure, such as written texts and systematic theology behind it. For example, various nature and tribal religions. Though there is probably still a social element that could be argued to exist, and some unifying elements in their religion as they relate to some shared higher power in their shared beliefs. With regard to belief, religion implies belief as in how the world is, with debates about life and creation, evolution and various miracles as just some examples. It is important to understand that a lot of believers in various religions would say that their beliefs about the world are true, just like many philosophers and scientists would say that their beliefs are true. Now, I'm not saying that these are equal in their truthfulness, just that they can be claimed to be perceived as the same as to what regards to believers, in the eyes of the believers. With regard to practices are acts. They can be prayers, rituals, following rules and other actions. This is probably one of the less problematic parts of Durkheim's definition. As for the description of sacred in a Durkhaimian sense is what is forbidden and what is to be venerated according to higher powers. Now the definition of higher powers can be difficult to apply. Is it supernatural that makes it higher? Even the word supernatural, with super, above, implies that it stands above nature. But most religious persons would claim that what others call supernatural is just part of nature. After all, the gods, the spirits, or the overarching force that's present in nature could be considered part of nature for the believer. So, the stricter definition of supernatural as separated from the natural can be problematic as it implies a separation between natural and supernatural, which is not present in what most would call their religion. If it is not supernatural, can the sacred be considered political or philosophical? Certainly, certain political and philosophical movements have been called religions. And the inverse is also true with religions being called political and philosophy. But others would say that there is still a large difference between worldly beliefs and religions, depending upon your beliefs about religion. We also run into the problem that the term that defines everything also defines nothing. Its broadness makes it useless. Religion also implies faith, as in holding devotion to something. Like through worship or behaviors that venerate this called higher entity or higher power in the Durkhaimian sense. Veneration can come in many forms, and practices can be varied from prayers, rituals, and upholding moral codes, which also connects to the subject of what is forbidden. This can and does go even into laws and ways of living, with probably a very famous example being the Islamic concept of Sharia, or the Jewish halakha as another example. Actually, on the subject of Sharia, the Arabic word is connected to being a path, a way of living, so it is actually greater than just a Western European understanding of law that is based on Roman Christian ideals of separating religion from worldly law. You can even see the connection between law and religion further in the Arabic language with the word adin, meaning both judgment and religion. Systems of governance and social structures are not just limited to Islam though. Think about the caste system in India as another example, where your position in society is decided by birth and a religious context that decides what your duties and rights are. Another example, closer to home for most of my Western audience, could be to just look at the abortion debates, where various debates invoke God or the Bible for making moral arguments for or against. This is because the border between morals and laws is fuzzy and hard to define. How much a religion is affecting law and society is widely different between religions and in various versions of religions. These things can differ due to various interpretations, due to having different texts, or due to different political situations and cultures in which the religions are practiced. However, the reason why I mentioned religion, social structures and laws was due to the fact that it is important to know that religion actually underpins a lot of societies and political systems. The boundaries of religion are broad and thus it can be hard to define. Nevertheless, religion is still an important social phenomena, considering that it influences society, morals and laws, and the politics around them. So yeah, that's pretty much what religion is. Let's say an important phenomena, and hard to define. Please do subscribe as it would help the channel spread awareness about the humanities. اشترك بالقناة من فضلكم.